But anyway, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna, no fear, chuck this. Gonna hit it right next to the basket, it'll be fine. And I just grip lock it a little bit too much and throw it straight over the water, and it curves back and just goes right into the water. I'm like, okay, well, it's close enough that we might be able to get it. So we went over, and I like roll up my pants, and I try to get in the water and have a stick, and I can see it, and I can pull it, but it's like just not moving enough. I'm like, okay, all right, well, I don't know. All right, so I'm gonna step out because the water is very cold. So I'm like, I just need to. It like hurts like daggers. So I'm like, just gonna take a few minutes to like calm down and go in again. But my buddy, he rolls up his pants and goes in. He's like, I think I can get it. And he comes back out and he takes off his sweatpants and has his shorts underneath, and walks back in. But he's wearing his like sweatshirt and his hoodie and his toque and everything. And he goes into the water and he's like, oh, I can almost get it. And I was like, just use the stick. He's like, no, I got it. I'm going to go for it. I'm like, what? And then he goes under the water and tries to grab the disc, comes back up, is like, nope, no, I didn't get it. I didn't get it, but I'm going back. So he leaves, he takes off all of his wet clothes and goes back in his underwear and grabs my disc and pulls it out and gives it to me. And I'm like, laughing the whole time, being like, what are you doing? What is happening?
What a hero.
God. And then the rest of the day was just like him shivering and just like, I'm so cold. But like surprisingly, he threw amazing after that. Like he just somehow the cold focused him and he had such a great score.
That's the secret.
But it was just like out of the blue, just like dives right into this freezing cold water.
Wow.
I'm like,
hero move.
I was like, thanks, man, but like
it's just a disc.
It's just a disc, but I appreciate it. Yeah. That was crazy. And now I have this awesome story about that time my friend saved my disc from the
I just imagine you're like, thanks, man. You take another throw, goes right in.
Goes right back in. The rest of the day, he's like, don't lose that, okay? Don't you dare lose that disc, because that I worked really hard to get that. I was like, I know.
That's great.
Hello, and welcome to the Arena Regulars podcast. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we are regulars on MTG Arena.
Sure are, yeah.
Yeah, we play Magic the Gathering online.
And drink beer.
Well, not online. Yeah. We're not playing MTGO. We're playing Arena, yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know what MTGO is anymore.
Yeah, I've never heard of that in my life. Yeah. Anyway, so we're playing Arena, and we got a good show for you today. Mm-hmm. Basically, we're talking about the Zendikar Rising Championship results and the results of our fantasy league, which I think is more important than the results of the tournament, probably.
Considerably more important.
There's a lot of people that are really excited about what happened, so we'll get you to that. And then later we're going to talk about the Arena Open this weekend. But before we do that, each week we both bring a beer, we drink our own, drink each other's, and then rate them on a scale of bronze to mythic, and then choose the best for last. So Jeff, what are you drinking? What's on tap?
Well, today we're going to be talking a lot about historic. So in honor of your favorite historic deck.
Yes.
I brought a beer called Aura.
Ooh.
So this is from Omnipolo. Looks like it's made right here in Toronto. It's a IPA, 5.9%. And they kind of got me as well with right on the box where you grab these cans from, it said rated top 10 breweries in the world.
Oh.
I don't know if that's true, but it worked on me. So
yeah.
I bought it.
Nice.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking, well, have you heard of black lagers before?
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
All right, well, did you know that this is the black lager?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it says the black lager. It's from Silversmith Brewing Company, and it's the lager.
That's crazy. I feel like I've had a black lager.
No, but you haven't had the black lager. This is the one. All the other ones are fake. This is the real. This is the black lager.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's 5%. It's got this cool, like, kind of black and silver thing going on with like this medallion that kind of has like a lion or something in it.
Looks like it's already been rated silver and gold, so our job's done for us.
Well, there we go.
The World Beer Awards.
Yeah, it won a few awards on the back. Silver and gold and winner. So I guess that could be a new rating system. Actually, the reason I picked that one up is because someone at the liquor store had written on the little tag, the price tag, and just said "great beer" with a smiley face. I was like, I guess I'm grabbing this one.
I trust you, random person.
Thanks, employee.
It's funny how simple-minded we are, right? It's just some box or tag tells us the beer is good, so we buy it.
I mean, if I'm just trying to try out new beer, that seems like a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah. I do it with Magic, too, you know? Someone's like, hey, this deck's good. Like, cool.
Like, okay, let me check it out.
Crafting now.
Yeah, done. Crafted. But anyway, so we have some Magic news this week. Obviously, we were talking about the Zendikar Rising Championship that just happened, December 4th through the 6th. And then this Friday, we have the FNM is Historic All Access, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And then the Arena Open is this weekend, December 12th and 13th.
Right.
We also had the December State of the Game. There's a game update starting December 10th, which is the day this
Episode will release.
This episode releases on Thursdays. We shoot it on Tuesdays, so that's why we're kind of talking in the future tense.
Yeah. But
But
when
it just-
if you're listening to this, the game is updated.
It just updated.
Yeah.
Yay! Or you're listening to this while you're waiting for it to update, because that always is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
thing that happens.
And so there are a few changes. So a lot of changes don't really take effect till January. They're advertising stuff that they're going to come out
Yeah,
with
or
later.
different events or things that are happening. So,
But the stuff that you need to know for this game update is one change to how tokens work.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of problems with Scoot Swarm because the game has to process every trigger of Scoot Swarm, and you could just get, I mean, it's exponentially. You could get thousands. You're now capped at 250 tokens.
Yeah.
So if you play a land and you have 250 Scoot Swarms, just nothing's going to happen.
Nothing will happen.
Yeah.
But also, if you're playing a land when you have 250 Scoot Swarms, how did you not win that game
Just
yet?
attack.
Just attack and win. Unless you're playing some sort of Scoot Swarm
Scoot
mirror.
Swarm mirror. But this actually makes it more interesting, the Scoot Swarm mirror.
It does. Because if you both max out, like, you have to have something else in your deck that's going to help you run them over or something.
Right. It used to just be whoever, misses a land drop first is just going to
Exactly.
fall way behind.
But now it's like you have to have that Felidar Retreat in your deck or
Yeah.
something. So I think it actually, I'm pro this change.
Yeah, this is something that they had on Magic Online. I think it was way lower cap than 250. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And it never really mattered.
Yeah.
It only mattered for like memes. You just wanted to get as many as you could.
You're just trying to like take a screenshot that says you have like 2
Yeah.
million or whatever.
But the state of the game was even saying that even if you weren't in a Scoot Swarm game yourself, the fact that another player was playing a Scoot Swarm game at the same time as you would affect your game, like you would lag.
Yeah, so that's not cool.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm glad that they did that. I was surprised at first, but I'm like, when you think about it,
250 is enough.
yeah, it's enough. As long as it doesn't mean that you, like, if you have a couple treasure tokens, you can only have like 238 or something if you have like 12 treasure tokens. So
Yeah. That might be the case.
I don't think that's the case, but who knows? I guess we'll find out.
Oh no, I only have 238
No,
Scoot Swarms.
my treasures, yeah.
Should have
In
sacked
my
the
Scoot
treasures
Swarm
in
deck.
response.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's relevant is that the Arena Cube is coming back. So, and they're adding traditional drafts. So they had best of one last time the Arena Cube was around, and now they're adding best of three for the same price, 600 gems or 4,000 gold.
Yeah.
And this is just like a curated collection of cards from basically all of Magic Arena. So it's kind of like historic cards.
Yeah.
And you can draft them. That's what a cube is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I did it a little bit last time it was around. It'll be back in December.
Yeah. I haven't tried it before because it kind of costs more than I would want it to.
Yeah.
The rewards aren't very high. If you get to play 3 matches no matter what. If you go 3-0, you get 6,000 gold and 3 ICRs, which are fine. The thing
Yeah.
is, you don't get to keep the cards.
Right. You should only do this if you want to try Cube and you think Cube's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you're using gold basically.
I did it a few times. It was fun. Decided that wasn't 2-3 times is enough for me. So
Yeah,
everyone will find their own balance.
Yeah, I probably won't try it because I still am at a point where I'm like, some of those cards I draft I probably would want. If you're at a place where you have all the cards that are not going to be helpful to you, sure, this could be super fun as a great experience.
Yeah.
If you're someone like me who hasn't, I don't have all the backlog of everything, it just feels a little. I mean, I would just want to keep the cards. And
Your
you don't
4,000 gold can be better spent.
So last week we had talked about a few things that we thought we were excited for this weekend. I had mainly brought up multi-Twitch, being like, this tournament is going to be on. It'd be great if you don't get to watch the rounds that you want to watch that aren't on this feature match or whatever. You can use multi-Twitch to watch both of the streams at the same time.
Right.
Turns out they don't actually make everyone stream the tournament. Actually, no one streamed the tournament, I'm pretty sure.
That one I don't think's all your fault. It just wasn't clear whether, because for the league weekends, all the Rivals players and all the MPL players have to stream every match they play.
Yeah.
There's just no indication whether or not that was the case for this event, and I think maybe we just kind of assumed that some players would do that.
I guess I was just assuming that they would have all the
Yeah, 'cause-
MPL and Rivals players stream just because to get more people to watch it. But I don't know if it was different because it's a championship and there's challengers and they didn't want to do that. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either why,
But anyway, if you tried to do that, you couldn't do it because I definitely tried and I was like, oh, nobody's streaming it. So Oops, we'll
Maybe
have to
it
wait.
somehow gave advantage to the non-challenger players or something.
I don't know. Maybe. But you will be able to do that for the league weekends. So on the league weekends, you can use multi-twitch to watch
Right.
the players. So that's when we will be able to do that later. So I'm only half wrong in that one.
I guess challengers could watch MPL players' streams and figure out how they're sideboarding in certain matchups.
That's true.
Maybe.
I guess that would make sense.
Anyways,
Anyway,
multi-twitch is still a good tip.
yes, it's
Just
definitely a
wasn't
tip
for this weekend.
We will remind you for the next league weekend because we'll be using that to watch that.
So should we get into this
Let's do it.
Zendikar Rising Championship?
Yes.
All right, so let's go over maybe our fantasy draft.
Sure. Let's start with the fantasy draft. That sounds good.
And then that'll give us a little window into the top 8. And then
Yeah.
we'll go
So
over
do you
the
want
exact
to
top
read
eight
the
here.
scores there? Yeah.
Well, okay, so so I had Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa.
Yes.
Did very well at 11-4. Got
Yeah,
me. So
he
that's
did okay.
It's 11.
He was fine.
That gives me 11 points.
For an MPL player, he's okay.
Seth Manfield went 9-6,
Mm-hmm.
which is again a really respectable record. And my superstar Andrea Mengucci went 11-4, good enough for a top 8 finish,
Mm-hmm.
and then won 3 match wins in that top 8, losing only to Autumn.
Burchett.
And
Yeah.
and I got him 16 points. How'd your MPL play?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So my all-star Autumn Burchett got 18 points for getting to the finals, knocking out your best player, Andrea, and getting me 18 points. So that was pretty fantastic. I also had Gabriel Nassif and Brad Nelson, who they both got 14 points, and they both top 8'd. So all of my MPL players top 8'd,
Yep.
and only one of yours did. So yeah, that felt pretty good.
Yeah, we should have had points for top 9. But anyways,
Oh, yeah, like that would do. Sure, you could have an extra point. Would you like an extra point for top 9? You could have it. I'm fine with that.
Looking at rivals, I had
Yeah.
Luis Salvado, who put up a good finish, 10-5, 10 points for Luis.
All right, that's fine. That's good. Yeah, I do like Luis, though.
Emma Handy, unfortunately, did not make day 2. She
Mm-hmm.
only got 3 wins. Similar Ben Stark, didn't make day 2. He only got 2 wins. Don't worry, guys, I still love you.
Yeah. LSV got 9 points, and Austin Bursavage got 9 as well. And then Noah Ma. Actually, hey, Noah, could you just tweet me and tell me how to pronounce your name? That'd be great. Because I cannot figure it out.
It's just spelled differently in a
It's
couple
spelled
different
differently
places.
in a bunch of different places, so I just want to know. But you got 3 points, but I'm still, I still got you in my ring. I like you. You didn't make day 2, but that is all right.
Yeah, you got enough points.
Yeah, I definitely did.
For metagame percentages, we both picked Mono Green Food as the top deck.
Womp
We were
womp.
both wrong. That's
Yeah.
0 points. To be fair, Mono Green Food was the second top deck.
It's true. It was the second to Gruul.
And we did say it's going to be one of the green decks that's number 1.
Yes.
It just happened to be Gruul.
It happened to be Gruul. So, hey, sometimes you're wrong.
Yeah. Top performing standard deck, I picked Demir Rogues.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You picked Teamer Adventures.
Yeah.
The top performing standard deck was Demir Rogues.
Yeah, so you got 2 points for that.
55.3% win rate, came in at number 1.
Yeah, looking at the scores now, it seems like, picking the players is much more important.
Yes.
Because 2 points is not a lot. So
But I predict that one of these events, these meta things are going to matter.
that's true. Okay, maybe we should not change up the points.
And plus, it gives me hey, I called the right deck, so I get at least that.
It does feel pretty good.
Because the astute listener already knows that you kicked my ass. So
Yeah.
no matter what these
Yeah.
meta percentages come out to be. Meta percentage in historic, I picked Sultai midrange. You picked Jund Sacrifice.
Yep.
Jund Sacrifice was more played than Sultai,
But not the top.
but wasn't the top.
So I got 1 point for that.
So you get 1 point for beating me, but you don't get the extra point for guessing the top one.
Yep.
He missed out by 1 deck, by the way. 37 players, I think,
Yeah.
played 4-color midrange, and 36 played Jund Sac.
That was so close.
Yeah, either 37 and 36 or 36
Yeah, it
and
was
35.
It was
but,
37, 36.
Yeah. And Sultai was way down there. Way more people brought 4-color midrange than Sultai.
Yeah.
I was on the fence about which one to pick, and which Uro deck to pick. I picked wrong. Then the top performing historic deck, I picked 4-color midrange. You picked Sultai midrange. Those were number 1 and number 2. 4-color mid-range was number 1.
Yeah, so you got 2 points for that.
2 more points for me. 4-color mid-range had a 57.6% win rate, despite being the most played deck. Sultai had 54.3.
Not only that, there were 4 of the top 8 decks were 4-color mid-range. So
Yeah. So that brings us to our grand totals. I had 55 points. Zach, how many points did you get?
68.
Wow.
Yeah, buddy.
When all 3 of your MPL players top 8, that's going to be...
That felt very good.
That's incredible. That's
So I know
impressive.
you were trying to say that you crushed me before, but this is crushing. That's 13 points.
I felt so bad about how badly I beat you before that I had to let you win one.
Yeah,
Get your confidence
It's just
back.
like I almost had enough. I almost won by enough that the margin was like an entire player above yours. Like
It was an
your
entire successful player. 13 points is
Yeah.
very good.
I was just hoping that like it would be better than your best player.
It's like another top 8 player.
Exactly. Yeah, just about.
I mean, in fact, if you take... So the best player, we picked the 4 best players.
Yeah, so wait, real quick. Wait.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be fun if we figured out what the best possible team would have been.
Yeah.
Right. So who were the best, like the top MPL players you could pick?
Yeah, so the best possible team, the 3 MPL players you would have chosen would have been Autumn Burchett, who's 18 points, Andrea Mengucci, 16 points, and then you could choose either Gabe Nassif or Brad Nelson. They both got 14 points.
Yeah. So I picked 3 of those, so that's
Right.
why I just like
And I picked
steamrolled.
I picked the other ones.
Yeah. So we did pretty good with that. I'm pretty like impressed with us.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
you had the second best possible trio.
Of MPL players.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to kind of fight against that, but pretty cool. I was very surprised. We left no MPL player left behind. Basically, they got in there.
Right.
We're kind of right on the money with that. So
And
that
even
was
PV,
great.
who I picked,
Yeah.
was in 9th.
Yeah, basically, yeah. PV lost to tiebreakers, basically.
Right.
So we were really, really close in there. So that was
So by a landslide, the best rivals player was Luca Magni. Came in the top 8.
Yeah.
Got 14 points. After choosing him, you would have chosen any 2 of the following, who all got 10 points. Matt Sperling, Corey Burkhart, Luis Salvato, whom I picked,
Yep.
Jakob Toth, and Jacob Wilson.
Yeah. So I almost picked Jacob Wilson too. I thought about it because you picked him before, so I wanted to take him. But
Yeah, I almost picked Jacob Wilson, but I wanted to try to pick players I didn't pick the first time.
and so I was with you with that. But
Yeah.
if with that and then having all the meta decks correct and
Right.
all the top performing and everything, the best possible score you could have gotten is 90 points.
90, yeah. So you got 68. That's
I got
pretty
68,
good.
so that's pretty good. I'm gonna shoot for a perfect score next time.
Oh, yeah. You just need to work on your rivals picks a little bit.
Yeah, my rivals
metagame
picks are
percentages
Uh,
here.
yeah. I think I have some. I think I get the MPL on lock.
So if I just pick the same deck as you, then
Yeah.
you can't get max points. Well, I guess if we're both right at the number 1 slot, then you could still get the 2 points. But
That's true. Well, no, because I only get 1 for beating you.
oh yeah, so if I just pick the same deck as you, then you can't get max points,
That's
and I
true.
crush your dream.
Oh, that is annoying. Okay, maybe we'll have to. No, it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. So and who won the event? We talked about the top 8.
Brad Barkley.
Brad Barkley, a challenger.
Yeah,
coming in.
a challenger. Okay, so in the top 8 we had 4 MPL players, 1 rivals players, and 3 challengers.
Right.
And a challenger took it down. Azorius Control took
Yeah.
the tournament.
Impressive.
Impressive. That wasn't even like something we were thinking about at all.
But you know what's even more impressive than that?
What?
Brad Barkley did not lose a single match of Historic.
That's
the entire
crazy.
tournament. He went 12-0 in Historic with
That's
his Azorius Control deck.
Insane.
Yeah.
Can't believe that.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting Azorius Control to do well.
I didn't even think it was. I mean, I thought it might be in the tournament a little bit, but it
Yeah.
really just swept.
And other than Brad, I mean, not too many other people did well with it from the looks
Yeah,
of it.
there were some other players that had brought Azorius Control, but he was really the one that just took it down. So
Yeah.
props to him.
Yeah. So again, I think we mentioned it, but I feel bad for Paulo as somebody who has finished 9th on tiebreakers.
Yeah.
More times than I can count. I know how bad that feels. So I'm sure Paulo can take it because he has plenty more top finishes in his future.
Yeah.
But Paulo, I have a feeling it's because I picked you.
Yeah.
I'm the 9th on Breakers guy. I picked you for my team, so you finished 9th on Breakers as well.
Happens. does happen.
But yeah, we have some metagame, a little bit of metagame stuff for Standard to talk about because it didn't
Yeah.
go maybe exactly as most people planned.
Yeah, or we planned even. So,
Well, one of us planned.
well,
one
none
of
of
us picked the best deck pretty well.
Okay, well, yeah, all right, sure.
And I guess it went as Martin Yuza planned because before the event, Martin Yuza actually said Dimir Rogues has no bad matchups. And as it turns out, the data from the tournament reflects that Dimir Rogues had a positive win rate against every deck. And one of the most popular decks, the kind of deck to beat was Mono Green Food, and Rogues crushed it at 62.5%.
That is so surprising to me. Just, I mean, like, that it did so well.
It is a little bit what I was saying, that the people, like, why I chose it. I knew it was a bit of a, like, high risk, high reward pick because it hadn't been doing that well in tournaments.
Yeah.
I think Rogues is basically the best game one deck. It kind of just smashes everything game one. The problem is it's so easy to hate on their
As soon as you
plan.
put in all your, like, escape creatures and stuff.
Exactly. So if people are kind of not expecting quite as much Rogues and they're cheating a little bit and not putting as many escape creatures into their sideboard,
Yeah.
suddenly Rogues has a chance to soar.
Yeah.
But also the players who bring it, like, it's a difficult deck to play. So I figured the players who brought it would be confident with it. They would have practiced a lot with it. You would really have to convince yourself, I think, that Rogues is the best deck before choosing to play it. Whereas something like Gruul or Mono Green, maybe you did a lot of historic practice and you're like, oh, I'll just pick one of the best decks for the standard event and rely on my skill to win.
Yeah. Because, well, what's interesting, since the tournament was broken up into 15 matches to get into the top 8, Historic was only 7, and then Standard was 8.
Right.
But the top 8 was all Historic.
Yeah.
It did seem like there were a lot of people focusing on Historic to make sure that, if you get there, you have what you want to get to the end.
Right.
But really, Standard is what pushes you in there. Like, you need your Standard deck to get. So
there is an extra match.
yeah.
But maybe people felt like Standard is just kind of closer. The metagame did kind of turn out that way, that even the bad matchups
Yeah.
were kind of like 54%ers.
Okay, so then it's really just on. Like,
Whereas Historic kind of, like, Rogues had a 55% win rate as the best deck, and
Yeah.
in Historic it was like 58. Something
yeah.
like
Okay.
that. So maybe that's the feeling. There was a really lopsided matchup in Standard, which is that Gruul Adventures absolutely crushed Teamer Adventures. So if you add blue to your deck
Makes it
for Brazen Borrower,
so much
you
worse.
just get crushed because
Yeah.
Gruul won 71% of the time against Teamer.
That's nuts.
Yeah. And so you picked Teamer Adventures as your
Yeah.
best.
Okay.
I want to say that I think it lines up with us both thinking Mono Green Food would be the most popular.
Yeah, you're
because
right,
Teamer
okay.
crushed Mono Green Food. But because Gruul was the most popular and apparently dominates Teamer, which I didn't know.
I didn't think that either, but I guess
That's why your pick didn't end up working out. 'Cause
Yeah, it didn't-
everyone
well-
was playing this deck that apparently dominates Teamer.
like, yeah, I guess the Teamer Adventures build, like, I don't know.
my my theory is it's just hard to outrace Embercleave for them.
I think so.
Unless they have Brazen Borrower at the time that you want to Embercleave. And maybe some of them were trimming stuff to try to beat Rogues, because I think Rogues just crushes Teamer because it counters the ultimatum.
Yeah, that's like the biggest problem with it.
Right. It's like all ultimatums and Ugins and
All those
Rogues
big
is
things.
cheap counter spells.
Yeah.
So they probably tried to beat Rogues and then apparently made themselves weak to Gruul.
I guess so.
But yeah, and then interestingly enough, Mono Green Food was actually the worst performing deck. It had negative or 50-50, but almost all negative win rates. The only thing it beat was Gruul, which was known quantity. That's why Mono Green Food became so popular, because
yeah.
it beats Gruul, and Gruul was everywhere.
So, interesting stuff. I mean, take what you can from all this data. People, I think what's hard is that everyone's going to be moving their kind of decisions around and thinking what's the best and what's not the best, and each tournament just like it really just depends on what everyone brings, and then if you brought the deck that really dunks on that one and your matchups, of course. But
Yeah, the other thing I want to point out is just don't take these win rates as gospel either.
oh no,
Partly because, if you look at some of the people who brought Rogues to this event, we're talking like Paulo Vitor, downloaded Rosa and his team. We're talking Luca Magni, who's in the Rivals League and made the top 8 of this event. it doesn't necessarily mean that you're just going to pick up rogues and pilot it like they
Yeah,
do. You won't
exactly.
have the same win rates.
I think it might be a little bit easier during some of the league weekends. Well, it has this weird dilemma. So like during league weekends, we have this kind of closed sample size of the same people doing these decks over and over again, or changing. You know, obviously they're changing their decks, but they're all very good players.
Yeah.
So we don't have people. Not that the challengers aren't very good players, because obviously one won
Sure.
the whole thing.
Yeah. And they made it here, so
Yes.
they're at least good.
Obviously, they're winning tournaments and can get there. But I do think it's just interesting.
Just like if a deck tends to match up against more challengers, maybe it's
Yeah, either that or you end up running into a bunch of the pros, or
Right.
if you're a challenger, or maybe you don't have the same testing team as other people have. These people have been working with together for a long time. They know how to kind of find the nuances and everything. And you're a challenger trying to build up your testing team and figure out how to do these kind of intense tournaments. So it really, some of the percentages can be a little off sometimes.
Yeah, and even if there's 180 players in this event, I think these stats are based on something like 600 matches.
Yeah.
That's still not enough to say with a high degree of confidence this deck beats this deck.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's mostly just for fun and interesting stuff,
Yeah,
but it
and-
does tell you a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it is good to know and to look at and be like, okay, well, mono green food was the thing at the last league weekend that like dominated, but it's also because the percentage was there's barely any decks playing it,
Right.
and they did so well that percentage skyrockets, right?
Yeah, I should mention I cheated a little bit that the best performing historic deck was technically Dimir Control because only 4 people brought it.
So that's
And
like
one of them was William Jensen.
yeah,
So I think we decided, I forget the exact line we set, but it's some like if it's one of the top 6 or 7 decks played,
Yeah.
we'll consider it for
the top.
best sample size. Like it has to have a reasonable sample size. So Dimir Control technically had a 60% win rate,
Yeah.
but with so few pilots.
Yeah, which especially with a tournament this big, if it's like a league weekend, it's different because there's a
Plus, I needed the points. So.
yeah. Well, but it didn't really matter.
Just to make it slightly less embarrassing.
yeah, so we just know that Jeff cheats when he.
That's
So
right.
now I have to do all the
But
counting.
I admitted to it. So.
Okay, so that means it's good.
Yeah.
Isn't your job just catching cheaters?
Yeah. I always prefer when they admit to it.
Okay. All right. So I didn't even have to ask you, but you admitted. Great. So Jeff cheated. I win by default,
Yeah.
even though I already won.
So yeah, who knows who would have won if I hadn't cheated? But
Yeah.
it's,
Anyway.
it's a default victory.
Yeah. But now the score is 1-1.
That's right, yeah.
I'm actually feeling pretty good now. Before it was, one in the hole. Felt kind of bad about it. Didn't know how I felt about going into this, but now
One thing we may kind of want to tweak the system just a little bit for these events, because one thing that was a bit
yeah.
disappointing was basically on day 2 we both knew you were going to win.
Yeah.
Because essentially I had 2 players that didn't make day 2 and you had only 1.
So I had
you
an extra player.
You had an extra player. So short of my player winning the whole event and none of your players top 8ing or something like that.
Or just having a miserable, like Autumn was undefeated going into day 2.
Right.
So that really pushes. I mean, I just immediately have 7 points, and
Right.
It,
So maybe we want to figure out some way that,
I think maybe with the call time championship, we might tweak the points a little bit.
yeah. But I don't think it really would have mattered. Like we said, your team was a whole top 8 player better than mine
Exactly.
this week.
Yeah.
So-
So, but if you have any like suggestions on how, if you do fantasy leagues like this
Yeah.
with your friends, please just like hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at Arena Regulars and tell us what your scoring system is, because we're still trying to figure out what we want ours to be.
Yeah, this was still fun, but I was a bit, I logged in or looked at the stats at the start of day 2, and I was like, I'm pretty fucked.
Yeah, and we were watching the games together. He was like, "Well, I'm pretty sure you won." I was like, "I think I did."
Yeah. It's all a moot point. I'm still going to cheer for my players.
Yeah.
But,
So I mean, like maybe it's just like the way that tournaments go, as opposed to league weekends where everyone's going to play all the games. So
yeah.
you never know. Has a little bit of a different feel. So we'll see. Maybe we'll figure something out.
And we considered maybe choosing more rivals players.
Oh yeah, if we choose more rivals players, maybe twice as many or something like that.
Just because there are so many rivals players compared to MPLers.
Yeah. So who knows?
But we don't want the rivals to be more important than the MPL.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah. So tell us if you have any suggestions with that and what you thought about the Zendikar Rising Championship. But with that, I definitely need another beer. This has been empty for quite a while.
Yeah. All right. Let's grab another beer then.
We forgot to crack our beers on camera again.
No, mine was real. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. So I got the Aurora. Nope.
Aura.
That was the beer we had before.
Yeah.
The Aura.
If you need help remembering it, just think about the worst historic deck.
Oh, wow. Ouch. That hurts me right in the feels. Damn.
I have data to back it up.
Cutting me deep. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, I'm actually... So we're going to our Arena Open topics right now. And basically, spoiler alert, I'm not going to play Auras in it. I wish I could, but I just don't think it's going to work out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason we're going to talk about the Arena Open is because it's coming up.
It's coming up this weekend.
December 12th, 13.
12 and 13, Saturday and Sunday.
That's right. So you're going to want to join on Saturday, so the 12th. Anyone can enter, as long as you pay the fee.
And you have an Arena account and can play Magic?
Yeah, it's 4,000 gems, or it's 20,000 gold.
Yes.
That's for both best of 1 and best of 3 options. You have either one. The payout structure is kind of the same as it was last time.
Yeah, I think it's exactly the same.
Right. Basically, you can look into it yourself and decide which one you want to play. But my experience was that it was preferable for me to play best of 1.
Yeah.
The reason is that best of 3 is very unforgiving. If you lose a single match, you're out. And best of 1, you're allowed to lose 2 games, basically. So you have a little more of a buffer. That was my experience with it, because sometimes you just run into a rogue deck that is a terrible, like, from this past event that we were just talking about. Reed Duke ran into somebody playing mono white 9 lives lockout, and Sultai just can't do anything about it.
Yeah, so you're just like, that's it. Like, you can't.
Like, that could happen to you, and then you're just done.
Yeah.
Whereas if that happens in best of 1, you have another shot.
Yeah.
So I preferred best of 1. Even though I tend to really prefer best of 3 in terms of actually playing for Constructed.
Yeah.
I like best of 1 in Limited, but I don't really like it in Constructed. They try to balance it a little bit because best of 3 has better payouts for not getting there.
So with best of 3, you have to get max wins, which is 4 wins. You get 5,000 gems and then qualification for day 2.
Right. And the nice thing about that is you get more than your money back because it's 4,000 gems to enter.
Yes.
And if you get 3 wins, you still get 5,000 gems. You just miss out on the qualification.
Exactly.
So that's the trade-off. It's a little more cutthroat in that you can only lose once. But if you get to 3 wins, you actually earned gems. Whereas in best of 1, you never earn gems. Even if you make it all the way, you only get 2,000 gems back.
7 wins is 2,000 gems, which is, to me, feels crazy. But it almost like it feels a little bit like it's pushing you to go best of 3, because you can kind of play all day.
Yeah.
If you get high enough, you can keep going.
I guess I don't know if we mentioned that. We can say it again, though, if we did. You can enter as many times as you want.
Yes.
So if you get eliminated on your first try, if you want to spend another 4,000 gems, just jump right back in.
Yeah.
What I'll say about this is please try to set like a number of times you want to enter beforehand. And don't go over that, because
or like how much gems you want to spend, right?
This is the kind of thing that can get addicting, and you can get people throwing another $100 down to get another 20,000 gems to keep jumping into this event. Really recommends save up golden gems beforehand and say I'm going to enter this 3 times. If I don't make it, I don't make
plan
it.
for it.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to enter it once, and I'm going to do my best. And if I get there, I get there. If I don't, I don't. That's what I've allotted. And that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, like last time I had 2. I said I'll do 2. But because I got to 3 wins in the best of 3, and I didn't realize that gives you more than your gems back, I was like, okay, I got a free roll on that, and then I made it. I qualified in the 3rd run.
Yeah, so he qualified for day 2. And then what happened in day 2 again?
I don't remember. I was sleeping.
So that's our other thing. Say if you do this, just remember if you get a token for day 2, there is a 2-hour sign up period on Sunday.
Yeah.
Don't forget to sign up for your day 2.
Yeah, don't sleep through it like I did.
Like look up all the rules. They're written everywhere.
Yeah.
You can figure it out. It's not that complicated, but
No.
apparently a doctor can't do it. So
Yeah.
better watch out.
Well, I don't know if I was officially a doctor at that point. So.
Oh, well, okay. Whatever.
Yeah. And it's a doctor of math. It's not like I'm a real doctor.
Yeah, for sure.
So these are really fun events. I do encourage you to try to save up some gold and jump in if you can, because it's kind of a way for you to like test out playing a competitive event.
Yeah.
You know, right on Arena, right from home, at your own discretion, because you can play the matches
Yeah.
any point during the day.
But the big thing is that you are trying to qualify to get into the Kaldheim Championship, essentially. This is the road to getting into the Kaldheim Championship. We just had the Zendikar Rising Championship.
Yeah.
Those challengers are people that went through a similar system to get to there.
Right.
If you want to, I mean, you can do it for fun, which is what I'm doing because I don't think I'm actually going to get anywhere. I'm not pushing too hard.
You never
for
know.
It. Well, you never know. But this is kind of how you get there. If you're wondering how did Brad Barkley get into a position where he could win, this is how.
This is one.
This is
avenue,
one of the ways you can do it.
And you know, worth mentioning, if you get 6 wins on day 2, you get $1,000.
Yeah. So
And if you get 7 wins, you get $2,000.
so there you go.
In addition to qualifying for this other event that you can then qualify for the
Yes.
championship.
And so that event for December, this one is qualifying you for that December one. The December Kaldheim qualifier weekend is December 19th and 20th.
And it's also historic.
It's also historic. Good, just to remember, I don't know if this was the same way as last time, but if you get 5 wins on day 2, you're qualified. I think before it was 7 wins.
Oh, maybe. So you're qualified for the qualifier weekend.
Yes, you're qualified. Okay, so this is how we break it down. It sounds weird, but at the Arena Open, if you make it to day 2 and you get
If you qualify for day 2.
okay, to make it confusing. Okay, so if you qualify for day 2, you have to get 5 wins to go to the qualifier for the Kaldheim Championship, which is the next weekend, December 19th and 20th, where you have to qualify to get into the championship.
And that's a very similar event. There's day 1 and day 2.
Yes.
And it's like first to 7 wins or 3 losses both or on day 1, and 7 wins or 2 losses on day 2.
Yeah, same kind of
And
thing.
if you get 6 or 7 wins on day 2, that's you qualify for the event that.
But I do know it's kind of a big deal because the last Arena Open, you had to get 7 wins on day 2 to qualify for the qualifier. Now you only need 5. So this one's kind of more. There will be just more people qualifying for the qualifier.
Yeah.
And
if you're already
ridiculous to say.
If you're already qualified for the qualifier, like
Yeah.
some people.
Jeff is qualified. He's playing.
Just
He
using
might be
this-
playing on the 19th. We don't know. Your Christmas plans seem like
Yeah, I'm gonna play.
yeah. Okay, you're gonna play at least the 19th. You might change. He might change his plans so that he can play on
Hey
the
man,
20th.
I want to make in this championship so
Yeah.
I can pick myself next fantasy draft.
You're not allowed to pick yourself.
Can
You
I just add
no,
my points?
you
to-
can only pick MPL and Rivals players. Those are the rules. You can't play. You can't pick challengers.
We'll discuss it.
Yeah. You could replace one of your MPL players with yourself. How about that? I will allow that.
No, I think any match wins I get should just be added to my fantasy point total.
No. No.
Don't worry, man. I'm not gonna get any.
No. Okay. Maybe you could replace a Rivals
In
player
this
with
fantasy
yourself.
world where I qualify for that tournament, I still don't think I'll get any match wins. So it's all gonna be okay.
You might get 2.
Yeah.
You'll be Ben Stark. Not that
poor
you're
Ben.
terrible, Ben, but we actually love you a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, and no, it sounds super confusing because that chunk of time we were just talking about it didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, but I had a great time.
Yeah, but whatever.
So let's talk about the event historically,
Yes.
right?
The qualify.
Like, how
to
would I
qualify to
practice for
qualify.
this event? You know?
So there's this awesome new tool that WotC has given us. The F&M for this week is Historic All Access, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It means on Friday you can play any historic deck you want, and you can build it. Even if the cards aren't in your collection, you can build it and play it.
This is really great. Like right before the big historic event, they just let you practice with any historic deck, so you don't have to waste wild cards.
Yeah, it's amazing.
decks
Also,
you're not
note
gonna
most
play.
of the time the F&M start on Thursday night before Friday. So if you stay up later on Thursday to start practicing, you almost get like 2 days out of it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to look at this because that's awesome. Like, that is, I'm in a position where I'm trying to figure out what deck I'm going to play.
Right.
And I'm also in a position where I can only build one deck if I have to craft a new one. And this is a perfect situation where I can play a bunch of decks and see which one I like and what I think will do well.
Not to mention, it combines perfectly with the fact that we just had a big historic tournament by the pros.
Exactly.
Where you get 181 deck lists to look at.
Yeah.
You can just go to the magic.gg website, go to this past event deck lists, and see every deck list from the event.
Yeah.
and copy one of those, bring it into the FNM, and see how you like it.
Yeah, and then be like, oh, next one, click, click,
And
next one.
For the league weekends, we were saying like it's such a sort of close-knit metagame that maybe just copying a deck list isn't the best idea. You'd want to tweak it. I think this tournament is much more reasonable to just take a deck list.
Absolutely, this is definitely the kind of place where copying and pasting is a good idea. I do think there are going to be a lot of people playing the Azorius control deck that Brad Barkley played.
Yeah.
Because he won. So just, I would say watch out for that. If you want to do that, that is totally cool. But that might be influencing a lot of what people will be playing in the Arena Open.
Right. And Autumn's Goblin list as the second place list.
So,
and people just love goblins. You're going to see goblins in a historic event no matter what.
absolutely.
Even if goblins sucks. Even if they like ban Muxus, people will still play goblins, I think.
yeah. People just love goblins.
So
I mean,
you should
goblins are
expect
cool.
goblins. Yeah.
Yeah, expect goblins. Expect Uro. Expect,
Yeah, maybe we
historic
should
decks.
mention that. We're not going to go into the same whole, percentage thing.
No. I'm done with those. I'm done with
Specifically,
percentages.
yeah. We're one beer deeper now. So.
Yeah, so I can't screw with numbers.
But we do have the same data, and basically what you need to know is the only decks that had high win rates were 4-color midrange, Sultai midrange, and Rakdos Sacrifice. Everything else had negative win percentages against the field.
Yeah.
And Sultai and 4-color were top number 1 and number 2 by a healthy margin. So basically what that's telling us is that Uro is still king.
Yeah.
Uro is still the best card in this format. And
Play
so,
Uro when you can.
yeah, you should have a good reason not to be playing an Uro deck.
Yeah.
Now that reason can be I don't have the wild cards for that. That is a good reason, But if you have all these Uros and Thoughtseizes in your collection, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna play 5-color, mid range, or 5-color control. You should have to convince yourself. And again, fun is another good reason.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
make sure you have a reason, right?
Yeah. So just pick the reason why you want to do this tournament. What you think is going to be beneficial to you. Sometimes it's winning prizes, going to day 2, having a winning record. That's mine. I just want to have a winning record. That's all.
That's your goal.
That's my goal. I just want to have a winning record, which hopefully shouldn't be that
And
hard.
are you gonna play best of 1 or best of 3?
I'll probably play best of 1 actually.
Yeah. So if you go like 4-2,
4-2. 4-2 I'd feel better about. I think 3-2 I'd be like,
3-2 is, yeah.
I don't feel great. 4-2 I think I'd be happy and I could walk away with my head held high.
yes.
But yeah, this is just, I'm very excited that they're doing this FNM because I'm going to be utilizing it just a ton just to figure out exactly what I want to do. And I would like them to do this more.
Yeah, this really cool move from Wizards.
Yeah, why not? It just seems like, hey, play all these decks. People are always kind of complaining about not having enough wild cards to build decks, and they want to build any kind of crazy thing they want. This is also the perfect time to just build the crazy historic deck that you're like, well, I don't
For
want to
sure.
spend 4 mythic wild cards on this random card I'm never going to use in anything else.
Yeah, this event doesn't have to just be for testing for the event.
No, this can be for,
for fun.
anything. Yeah. But it is smart if you're a person that wants to test for fun, keeping track of when these tournaments are, because they might have this more and more.
Right.
Because it really seems like just a great way to get people interested and working into these tournaments.
Yeah, definitely.
Normally, if I was in a situation where I couldn't test a lot of stuff, I might be more hesitant to actually be in the Arena Open. But
Right.
because I feel like I have just a free day to figure it out, I've been wanting a new historic deck anyway. So this is a perfect opportunity to just
I was going to say, especially since the historic deck you have had a 30.6% win rate.
well, that's because I wasn't playing in the tournament.
It got beat by Other at 46.
But you know what other is? Other is the mono white prison deck. So
Yeah, that beat Reed, yeah.
yeah, which auras cannot beat that deck ever.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing, one thing just from the last thing I wanted to say about these win percentages is when I look at it, it looks like Yasharn, there was some question of whether or not Yasharn would still be good at hosing the sacrifice decks because everybody knows about it and people are playing Chandras and ways to kill it and get around it. It doesn't seem like that mattered. Yasharn, the 4-color mid-range deck, had a 67% win rate against Jund and a 60% win rate against Rakdos.
Yeah.
The Sultai deck did well against Jund as well, but got crushed by Rakdos. So adding Yasharn into the mix let you beat the Rakdos Sacrifice deck.
Yeah.
So I'm still thinking Yasharn is something to play in this event.
I think so too. Get that pig, man. I don't know. Did you see Andrea Mengucci had the
hat, yeah.
the pig hat? That was pretty funny.
Well, he got it because the Mythic Invitational that he won with Endray's Forerunners.
Oh.
So his friend got him the pig hat for Endray's Forerunners.
And so he was wearing it for this tournament because he was
For
playing
Yasharn,
Yasharn. That's
yeah.
pretty funny. Though you can see that at a certain point during his Goblins matchup, he took off the hat and put it down because he's like, I need to just focus right now.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little too...
The hat was unlucky.
a little too cute with it.
Autumn top deck to Muxus. Yeah, so I don't know. I was gonna play Bant. I've been talking about Bant for a few weeks, and I have a really good record with it. The problem is that the Bant deck that I play it's basically blue-white control, and I splash green for Uro because it's the best card in the format, and Yasharn because it's the best sideboard card in the format.
Yeah.
And it's been really successful. But other than those cards I'm splashing, my deck is very, very similar to Brad Barkley's. And he just won the event, and now people are going to be expecting that deck.
And they're,
So I'm going to get some like incidental hate that's meant for him.
Yeah.
That's now going to be so... I'm a little disappointed that Brad won. Like nothing against Brad, obviously,
I know,
but I was like,
been...
I want Azorius Control to get crushed
Yeah.
and nobody to think it's a good deck.
It should have been Goblins. That's what it should...
But... So the way most people were building Bant before was, I call it just bad Sultai. They were playing Growth Spiral and Nissa and stuff, and they're just like, I'm playing Sultai, but not Thoughtseize and Fatal Push for some reason.
Not the good cards. Yeah.
And the way I built Bant was, I called it good Azorius Control, because I just take Azorius Control, cut the crappy cards, and put in Uro and Yasharn.
Yeah.
But now people are expecting Azorius Control.
So what are you going to do? Like...
I'm gonna test on this Thursday, Friday FNM thing. I think I'm gonna register an Uro deck. I think. It seems crazy to me. Uro just keeps beating everyone, and
I think I'll probably play an Uro deck as well.
and I have Uro in my collection. So.
I also have Uro in my collection, so I haven't really played with Uro very much, just because I was kind of like get away.
I get that, you know.
Yeah, but might as well try to just
play it till it gets banned, you know.
Basically, I mean, I might as well, because at a certain point it's going to be like, hey, do you remember when we could play Uro? And I'm like, no, I didn't play Uro.
No,
ever.
I stubbornly
I was
avoided it.
kind of an ass about it and just like refused to play it. So I'll probably throw together some sort of Uro deck, and I mean that's what I'm assuming will end up happening. But I will have some fun along the way.
Yeah,
I don't exactly know what that fun's going to be, but it's going to be pretty fun.
There was a Bant deck that did okay in the championship.
Yeah.
There was a single player on Bant. And they built their deck entirely around Tail's End.
Yeah.
They have 4 Tail's End.
So what is Tail's End? Just so there's not everyone remembers what that card is.
Yeah.
It's like 1 in a blue for a source or instant.
No, not a sorcery.
It's an instant.
And it counters an activated or triggered ability or a legendary spell.
Yes.
The crazy thing about this deck is it just goes all in on this plan. So it plays the Gideon
Gideon of the Trials.
Gideon of the Trials, which combos with
Pact of Negation.
Pact of Negation.
Yeah.
But you can also Tail's End the Pact of Negation trigger when you have to pay for it.
Oh, so you only have to pay 2 instead of 5?
Yeah, but it also costs you an extra card. It's a lot like a Force of Will at that point.
Yeah.
Which, is not a card we should talk about because it's not on Arena.
Yeah, you can't play Force of Will.
But then you can also counter the trigger that makes you sacrifice your Uro.
Right.
So you just play, for 5 mana, you just play Uro, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, he plays Lotus Field, which makes you sack 2 lands when it enters the battlefield. You can counter
the
that
sack
trigger,
land
and
thing.
then it's just a ramp spell.
It's just a Gilded Lotus that costs 2?
Right. The other thing about Lotus Field is that you untap it with Teferi, and you get a lot more mana.
Interesting.
So the deck, actually, when I first saw it, I just wrote it off immediately. But now I'm like, actually,
it's pretty fun.
Tail's End is doing a lot of crazy things in this deck. And then it also just, a lot of the spells in Historic that you want to counter are legendary. Like Nissa, Uro, obviously, Narset. Muxus, exactly. You could even let it resolve and counter the Muxus trigger if for some reason you wanted to do that.
Because you can chump Muxus all day, right?
Yeah, but it's probably still better to just counter the Muxus.
Probably.
But hey.
but at least give them the hope.
Yeah. You know you're gonna Wrath of God anyway.
Yeah, you have wrath in your hand. You're
Yeah.
just like, you'll survive that turn because they'll probably get haste off of the top. But that's
Yeah.
pretty funny. Actually, that sounds pretty fun. I did see that list as well, and it was floating around Twitter and stuff. So I think I actually might try.
The
that
more
one
I
out.
looked at it, the more I was like, all right, actually,
Maybe-
Tails End is doing some ridiculous things.
Maybe this seems pretty
It still
cool.
seems a bit too gimmicky to me.
I don't know.
like-
Gimmicky sounds great. to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like if you just don't have this Gideon or Tails End, then Pact of Negation is so bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't want to be a control deck and have to pay
I do
5
like-
during my main phase.
Yeah.
Unless that 5 mana is for Teferi and it untaps 2 lands.
Yeah.
I do like the Lotus Field Teferi thing.
I think
I might
that's-
even just put that in one of my decks.
That's pretty good.
Because Lotus Field also puts 2 cards in the graveyard for Uro. Like, I don't think it's that bad to just play Lotus Field.
That does seem pretty good. Interesting. Actually, so more Bant stuff is actually what I'm looking forward to. I do like black a lot, but it just seems more fun to do something a little bit different just because I've seen the Sultai a lot.
Yeah, and I've been beating Sultai with Bant.
Interesting,
It just
okay.
kind of goes the way that it's basically we're very similar decks, but they have Thoughtseize and we have counterspells.
Mm-hmm.
And then counterspells tend to be a bit better because both those things kind of trade 1 for 1 in the early game.
Yeah.
But a late game top decked Thoughtseize is usually bad, but a late game top decked counterspell is
is-
usually good.
Yeah. Are you playing Dovin's Veto in your...
I played on the sideboard, yeah.
Okay. For like mirror matches or other counter control decks?
Yeah,
That
exactly.
makes sense.
Sideboard games against these blue decks tend to be all about Narsets and Shark Typhoons.
Okay.
So you want to counter the Narsets, and then I'm playing Brazen Borrowers in the sideboards to beat Shark Typhoon. I don't know if that's
Got
good
it.
yet, but I'm trying it.
I think it makes sense. I'll get that. I do like bouncing a big shark token is always fun.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just love just like just shitting on tokens a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. Well, then it's good news for you that your opponent can only have 250 of them now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There's only 250. That's fine.
All right, I'll Brazen Borrower that one. Petty bounce that guy.
You attack with all of them. Sell the wreckage. Do you have 250 tokens?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't really matter. That's not gonna happen. No one's really playing Scoots Warm in Historic anyway. So
I don't know. I'll run into the guy that is though.
Yeah,
he
of
will
course.
go off,
And you're
get
like,
his
"What?
250
Yeah.
tokens.
yeah, and they're all mutated from the whatever that card is. Auspicious something.
Starix.
Starix, yeah. So I'm actually, after having this little discussion, I think I'm pretty excited about doing some Bant fun stuff and figuring out exactly what's going to happen.
It's definitely fun. I highly recommend the Narset memory combo.
Yeah. Okay.
It makes you a terrible person,
yeah.
but it wins immediately. So.
Yeah. Basically, they'll just concede to that.
Yeah. Usually they concede the match in my experience because they just don't want to have to deal with that shit.
They're like, no, I'm not. If you're that person,
you're the guy playing
who
that
does
combo.
that, I'm not going to do that. Get out of here.
Even in Mythic, I had somebody concede the match.
Yeah. I mean, if you're at Mythic, you're like, fine, I don't.
True. Yeah. If I was in Diamond, they probably
Yeah.
would.
They'd be still fighting for it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm actually almost more excited now for the FNM than I am for the tournament this weekend.
Yeah.
I just want to play a bunch of decks that I haven't been able to play.
Right. Like even if there was no tournament this weekend, I still think it's cool to put it the Friday after the historic event, so I can try those deck lists.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good idea. I don't know. It seems like they might have done this before, but I haven't really heard about it.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, so it might be brand new.
Mm-hmm.
But I say let's do it again. Let's do more of them. As much as possible.
Every time you want to do a arena open, put one of these before it.
Yeah, just so because players they'll do it, and we'll tell you. Well, we'll tell you probably just about the day of.
Yeah.
Because that's when the podcast comes out. But yeah,
All the more incentive to listen to the podcast right away.
yeah. So listen right on Thursday morning during the update. Listen to us. But we're getting a little tipsy here. I feel. I think we need to talk about these beers. We're kind of getting to that point. I think
Beer time.
it's beer time.
All right.
Yeah. So, what do you feel about this beer?
Which beer are you talking
We're
about?
talking about Aura. So we were
Aura.
talking about Auras earlier. So let's talk about this Aura beer.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
put this at like 30%. Oh no, you're talking about the beer, not the.
Oh,
deck.
no.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
God. Can you stop that? Man. Okay, I get it. My deck is terrible.
Yeah.
Whatever.
My deck's bad against Thoughtseize.
It's bad against, yeah.
I think
They
nobody
added
plays that.
Yeah, just everyone. Yeah, basically we were talking about this earlier. So if you're an Auras player, most of the time you'll like be fine with one creature and a couple Auras in your hand to start the game. Turn one Thoughtseize, take the creature, you're screwed. Like
Concede.
You just if you don't draw another creature in the next 2 turns, just stop playing. It just gets really bad. Anyway, the beer though, it's pretty good.
It is good. Yeah.
I'm okay. I want us to focus on being harder on these beers. Okay. I really think that we're just being lenient. We're just throwing platinums all over the place. But remember, from a scale of 1 to 6, platinum's a 4.
Yeah. It's because I'm kind of thinking of, like bronze and silver is like your macro brews.
Bronze is so for me, bronze is. I don't want to have to drink this again. Like I barely want to even finish
Like it's
it right
bad.
now. That's bad, right?
Okay.
Because what else do we have for bad? We have nothing.
Thing is, there are very few beers that are actually like that for me.
Yes.
It's mostly like, I'll take another one of these if this is what we have.
Yeah, I mean, like
If I
like
get a free reign of choice,
Totally.
I won't choose this one.
Yeah, I like drinking quite a bit, but I'm assuming most beers will not be bronze
Right.
because it'll be like I don't want
Yeah.
that's kind of
just
how I feel.
no.
Like no, I can almost finish this one, but
If we ever are like vomiting on stream.
that's basically how I feel about bronze, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so bronze is terrible,
Right.
right? Silver is
No
like
offense to anyone who's in bronze. but-
yeah. Well, there's also nothing wrong with being bronze.
Yeah.
It's just it's a good place to start to work up past, right?
Yeah.
Including your beer. If your beer's terrible, you have all the equipment already to make beer. Just
Yeah.
make a better
Just
one
do
next
better,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. Silver is macro, right? I kind of there every once in a while I like being in it. It's kind of swimming around. I can almost feel like I can drink as much as I want, and eventually I'm gonna just get pushed up or pushed out of the bar. But yeah, I like that's kind of what I feel like. I'm thinking like Buds, Bud Light, anything like that, where it's like this is good, but like it has
Molson Canadian.
Molson Canadian. That actually has a little bit higher on my record.
Me too, yeah.
Well, because I'm not used to it, so it's just still kind of exciting.
Yeah.
But
Still Molson though. It's an American company. It's Molson Coors.
it's Molson Coors, but like they do all that stuff out of Calgary, right?
I don't know.
Because anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so that's how I kind of feel about that one. Gold is the one we can play with a little bit more. I feel like we've been afraid to touch gold.
Okay.
Gold is like, yeah, it's good. It's a 3. It's a 3 out of 6. It's fine. It's not better than fine. It's good. It's fine. Platinum's like, okay,
it'll always make your deck, but you're never
exactly
excited.
Yeah. And then platinum is like, I'll kind of push a little bit closer to this. I'll see when I can fit it into my deck. I want to have it in my fridge when I can. Diamond's like, I went to the store looking for this, and I want to have it. And Mythic is like, it's the best thing ever, and I only open it on special occasions.
Yeah.
Right?
Not gonna lie, my default has just kind of been platinum.
I know, and I feel like we should move our default to gold.
Okay.
You
And
know-
then something has to like work its way out of gold.
Yeah,
Like you do.
Yeah,
you have to in
We
Arena,
you gotta work your way out of gold. That's okay. Here we go.
You can get to gold just by playing
Yes.
because you don't lose any. Like as long as your win rate is not 0,
Yeah.
you will eventually get to gold.
Exactly.
Whereas gold, I think, is when you start needing
A little bit.
like a 40% win rate or something.
No,
like
no.
that.
Gold is the same as the others. You still get 2.
But I think you only get half. You don't decrease as much for a loss. I think you get more points.
Yeah,
for
yeah. In
winning.
gold, you still get 2, and then down 1,
Right.
and then 2 down 1.
So you don't need like above 50% to.
Yes,
increase.
exactly. But then when you get to platinum, that's when it changes.
Yeah. After platinum, it's like you need over 50% win rate to make any headway.
Exactly. So I think that platinum, we throw it out willy nilly. I think
Okay.
we gotta maybe rein it back. So I'm gonna give this gold.
Is this just because you wanted to insult my beer?
I just went through that entire thing just to tell you that I don't like.
I don't
your
like the beer you took.
I think the beer is fine. I think it's fine. I like the can. The beer tastes fine. I would drink it again. I probably won't pick it up again. But if it's around, I mean, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I liked the can design. And
I think the can design. I don't think that. I'm a little. Wait, what was the? It won an award or something? What was?
The brewery, not the
Oh,
beer.
the brewery, not the
Yeah.
beer. Okay. Well, that was a mistake on your part.
I found the beer totally fine.
Yeah, it's good.
But nothing really stood out about it to me. It
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
just tastes like an IPA.
I'm not gonna write to home about this.
Yeah, so I was gonna give it platinum, but it sounds like that's gold now.
We're changing it to gold.
Okay, it's gold.
Yeah.
And how did you like the black lager?
The black lager.
Yeah.
It's actually I liked it quite a bit. I think it was better than some other black lagers I've had. Mm-hmm. It definitely feels like it might be one of the best black lagers.
Okay.
But it at the same time it has that kind of not too beefy, not too heavy.
Yeah.
Good kind of like roasted coffee flavor almost, but not thick. Doesn't weigh me down a bit. I like it. I would probably drink it again. So I'm going to give that one platinum.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're right on board with me. I was going to give the one I brought platinum and this one diamond, but it sounds like we're kind of shifting everything down.
I want to be a little bit.
Let's shift everything down. One.
Everything down. So every rating we've ever given. Just kidding. That's not true.
Except the mythic ones. Those probably just
Yeah,
stay.
the mythics will stay at mythic. But yeah, I think
You can't get demoted, right? So we can't do that.
you can't get demoted from mythic.
You can't get demoted from any rank. So you, like,
That's true.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, we can't really do
I
that.
can't move any down.
I mean, like maybe if I'm putting it together, I'll put all yours down one and mine stay.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I think I just like that.
Yeah.
The black lager.
I also just really like black lagers in general if
Yeah.
they're good, and this one is good.
It's good.
It's
yeah.
not the best black lager I've ever had, actually.
I can't-
So I don't think of it as the black lager.
What's the best black lager you've had?
I really like one called from Silversmith. It's out of Niagara Falls.
Isn't this Silversmith?
The brewery?
Yeah, this is Silversmith.
This is Silversmith.
Yeah. This is
Oh my
Silversmith.
god.
Yeah, this is the Silversmith black lager.
But is this the same one I had before?
I don't know, but it's the black lager from Silversmith. So
All right. Let's cut all of that out.
I can cut that out if you want.
Well, you know what? This is the best black lager I've ever had. So. No, I think it is more an affinity for the style than anything.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
it's good. Mm-hmm. That's what I'll be choosing.
All right. Well, let's just do that now. All right. So Jeff, what'd you pick?
I picked my favorite black lager. The black lager.
The black lager from
Yeah.
Silversmith. It is the best black lager that Jeff's ever had.
That's correct. Yeah. And what did you pick?
The same thing.
All right. So
Yeah.
this is just an all-around Zach wins
Yeah.
episode, I guess.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Zach wins the.
I wouldn't get
fantasy
used to
draft.
it.
Zach wins the beer thing.
That's why I've been harping on auras so much. If you
Yeah, I
look at
guess
it.
you just knew. You're like, you know what? I got to give him some shit for something.
Yeah.
I can respect that. That's fine. But yeah, so black lagers all around. It's great. It's a platinum beer, which is the new
Diamond.
Diamond. Yeah,
Platinum's the new diamond.
that sounds pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing. But with that, I think we kind of talked about some magic. So if you want to reach us, that'd be awesome. You can reach us at Arena Regulars on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, or you can find us on MTG Arena under the username Arena Regulars Podcast.
Also, if you like the show, could you please review us on Apple Podcasts? That'd be super awesome.
Yeah.
It helps us out a lot. If you don't like the show, just don't review us at all. And just go somewhere else.
Just go find our social media and tell us why. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can
Tell us
improve.
why you don't like it. Yes, find our social media, but don't leave a review until we can talk to you about it first. That'd be great.
And if you could just subscribe on whatever you do listen to, if it's not
Oh,
Apple
yeah.
Podcasts, it's not review based. That'd be great too.
just follow or we'll just keep listening to the show. We
Yeah.
like that as well. So
Thanks for joining us.
yeah, and thank you to our one listener,
Yeah.
which is you. Yeah, you're the one
Who's
listener.
definitely going to leave a review now.
Yeah. You, one listener, leave a review because you're the best and we like you.
Yeah.
And with that, cheers and good night. All right, that's fine.